This is Tank's Vlog, brought to you by Allow Me to Be Frank. It's the weekly podcast that's available on SoundCloud and iTunes. This week we had Casey Smith of the College Football Show on Barstool Sports. Be sure to give a listen. If you listen Saturday, so you can listen before you watch her on Barstool Sports or after. One way or another, you get some good insight. We talk about some rivalries. She's a big Texas A&M supporter, and we talk about the rivalry between Texas and Texas A&M and why it needs to be revived. Check it out, SoundCloud and iTunes. As baseball goes into its penultimate weekend, things are settling into place. Chris Davis of the Oakland A's hit 2 home runs on Friday night, as the Oakland's magic number to get the second wild card is now 3 games. Of course, they're still pursuing the Yankees, just a game and a half behind for the right to host that wild card game. And the Yankees continue to have their troubles with the Orioles, although they did win today 10-8. The game was not as easy as it should have been. CC Sabathia finally got his 8th win after several tries. But that's how things are starting to shape up in the American League. Of course, the Red Sox clinched the East already, and with a lineup mainly of reserves, went out and bashed the Indians today 7-5. That is a potential later playoff matchup, with the Indians already having clinched the Central Division. The Astros, meanwhile, the defending champions, they're getting closer to wrapping up another division title. 11-3 win, as Garrett Cole got his 15th win, struck out 12, as the Astros beat the Angels 11-3. The Astros have now officially clinched the playoff spot and are now just ready to lock up the division. The Rangers beat the Mariners 8-3. And the Rays beat the Jays today 11-3, keeping their faint hopes alive. It might have been also on Friday that Jacob deGrom locked up the Cy Young. Another great start, breaking the record for most consecutive games, allowing 3 runs or less. His record's now 9-9. Should be a lot better, but the Mets have screwed him time and time and time again. But he's got that ERA of 1.77, best in baseball. And the win for the Mets has officially eliminated the Washington Nationals. What a shame. Braves, meanwhile, moved a step closer to clinching the East, edging the Phillies today 6-5. If the Braves just win one of the last 2 games in this series, they will have the Eastern Division Championship in their back pocket. Cubs, meanwhile, it's getting tight in the Central. They got some bad news. Addison Russell was put on administrative leave as new allegations of domestic violence have arose. So they're likely going to be without him for the rest of the season and playoffs. And they lost 10-4 today to the White Sox on the south side. And with the loss, the Brewers inched closer. Brewers now just game and a half out of first after beating up the Pirates 8-3. Cardinals, meanwhile, are still ahead in the second wild card as the Brewers lead the wild card race, with a 5-3 win over the Giants, as Matt Adams got a 2-run double to win that game. The Rockies, meanwhile, after getting swept in Colorado, went into Arizona and beat the Diamondbacks 6-2. And the Dodgers today lost 5-3. So right now, the Rockies trail the Dodgers and Cardinals both by a game and a half. Catching the Dodgers would mean leading in the West. Catching the Cardinals would mean getting that second wildcard spot. In other games, it was the Royals 4-3 winners over the Tigers. As baseball season comes down its last few days. We had some good college football games on Friday night. A couple of ranked teams in action. We had the Central Florida slamming Florida Atlantic 56-36. Penn State trailing at halftime exploded in the second half to beat Illinois 63-24. USC off to a 1-2 start. Won a big conference game this weekend, beating Washington State 39-36 behind the passing of JT Daniels and getting a big blocked field goal at the end of the game that could have potentially tied it. JT Daniels should still be in high school, but he graduated early, and he looks like the real deal right now. So Saturday's college football day. Don't forget to watch Casey Smith on Barstool Sports Show. That's going to be on barstoolsports.com. And, of course, you can check out my picks by clicking the link below. You know, I actually bounced back. Had a decent week last week going 4-2. Hopefully I could do the same this week with my 6-pack picks. Today's 3 stars are Yuli Gurriel, who hit 2 home runs for the Astros, had 7 RBI. Now, Gurriel, meanwhile, his brother Lourdes Gurriel with the Blue Jays also hit 2 home runs. First time ever 2 brothers hit 2 home runs on the same day. JT Daniels of USC, who had 241 yards passing with 3 touchdowns, leading the Trojans to victory. And Wei-Yin Chen, who had 3 hits allowed over 7 innings and 8 strikeouts as the Marlins beat the Reds. Today's birthday shout-out goes to Tommy Lasorda, who turns 91. And we take a look back to 1988, when controversy marred boxing at the 1988 Olympics, a result where the Korean favorite Jung-Il lost because the referee decided to call him for headbutting, which led to a near riot as Korean officials, even security guards, went in the ring to attack the ref. Meanwhile, Jung-Il sat in the ring in protest long after the match ended, over an hour, that he actually had to turn off the lights as he sat silently in the ring. So check out the full story of Barstool Sports and Sports Encyclopedia, where sports history lives. And don't forget to check out Allow Me to Be Frank. Good day.